Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday. Oh, good morning, wife. Wife gives me the thumbs up. I don't remember what I said. Oh, yeah. Tonight is Traeger night. London broil going on the grill. Yep. Happy Friday. Sun's shining. I feel like I was on my walk this morning. I was like, you know what? I kind of feel like we live in Florida right now. Only, Florida's funny because whenever you hear like something weird, like man rapes alligator, you know that that's in Florida. Like you don't even have to know where it happened, but just some weird stuff like that, and you know it's Florida. And then it comes out and they're like, yeah, it's Florida. You're like, shocking. Weird shit happens in Florida. To all my friends in Florida, good morning. I hope you're having a good bike ride. Mostly Jeff. Lisa's probably out running. And yeah, so today's Friday. Today's awesome day. I was on my walk this morning. I saw a friend, Rick, that I haven't seen Rick in so long. I didn't recognize him. I don't know if it was his quarantine beard or the fact that I was talking to myself while on my walk, or maybe I was talking to Stella. Any event, yeah, saw Rick, rode by on his bike, and he's similar to me in the mindset of there isn't a whole hell of a lot else to do, so we might as well exercise. And I think that's a great thing. So some housekeeping notes. I just want to verify the date. I think I've got 30 days left of this hard 75. Yeah. 30 days left, 30 or 31. I will not be on air July 3rd. Yeah, we won't be doing anything that Friday morning. The 4th of July, it's a big celebration for a lot of people. 75 hard, I believe, ends either, I think, the 5th of July. Is the end of it. Maybe the 4th is the end of it. Basically me and Gus and I, with proper English, Gus and I are going to hike the Northville Placid Trail, but we're going to do it in style. We are going to, I'm still coordinating some of the details, but we're looking to do it in 2 days. So 138 miles over 2 days. So it'll be kind of like a walk run. I kind of decided one day when I was on a walk, I was like, you know what? I want to walk 75 miles to end 75 hard. To me, that just seems like a fitting way to kind of bring this chapter to a close. And then I said, well, I've always wanted to do, ever since like learning about the Appalachian Trail, which runs from Georgia to Maine. 2007, when we lived in DC, we'd go and we'd hike bits and pieces of it, my wife and I, with the pups. And so we'd go out to like Front Royal and we'd hike out there. And I was like, man, that would be really cool to do one day. So I've always had this like thought that I want to hike the AT. And I'm going to hike the AT as soon as the boys are off to college and I have 3 months, I have a schedule that's opened up for 3 months. I told Jerry that when he graduates college that we can, the three of us, him, Parker, and I, can hike the AT together. I think that would be pretty fun. And that would be really good for Beth because, she's living her entire life with 3 boys. I probably will never grow up. So I figured like that's something pretty cool to do. And the Northville runs from, you guessed it, Northville up through to Lake Placid. So what better place to end a hike than Lake Placid? And for those of you who don't know, I love Lake Placid, mainly because they hold a triathlon you might have heard of. every year called Ironman, and except this year, possibly. So yeah, we're going to do that. And Donnelly's ice cream is up there. So what better way to end 75 hard than in Lake Placid, so we can drive over to Donnelly's so that we can get the best ice cream in the world. Literally, you've never had soft ice cream until you've had Donnelly's soft ice cream. That's a fact. So that's the game plan. So 75 miles day one would take us across things. Donnelly's, you know what I'm talking about, Patrick. Yes. Yes, sir. Worth it. See, Mary's done it. Mary probably ran it. She probably did it twice. She probably like ran up it and then was like, oh no, I got to go home. I have to be to work tomorrow, and then ran back. So, you know, it's, you know, I'm looking forward to it. So like mile 75 is a road crossing. So like literally that would be like the perfect end of 75 hard, is to like crush 75 miles on day one, knock out 75 miles on day two, which would be Saturday, and then have all of Sunday. Oh man, it's amazing that you're as fit as you are, Mary. Growing up eating Donnelly's, it's like, oh man, just think of that. Like the frozen has this like classic ice cream machine. Like there's only 2 of them in the country that still work. They have one of them. Man, it's so good. So, you know, it'd be fitting to end day 75, running 75 miles, and then having that third day just to hang out in the picturesque village of Lake Placid. There's always something magical about when you're in Lake Placid. Maybe go and knock out a high peak just for the fun of it, just, you know, because we're stupid enough to try it. And then just go and have basically breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Donnelly's, and then drive home and probably fall into like a diabetic coma. So yeah, I mean, it's a fun idea. It's a crazy idea. I know that the Wakely Dam Ultra, and that's like 50-ish miles with like feet of elevation. So it's 138 miles with a little over 11,000 feet of elevation gain, like 11,380. So we're going to try to knock it out in 2 days. Shoes are ordered. There's no cell service on the trail. So like logistically, you know, coordinating everything. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. So that brings us to today. What do you do? Everybody always asks, like, from like the ultra perspective, they're like, what do you do on a long run? What do you like? How do you survive? What do you listen to? Podcasts, Audible books, all those things. So earlier this week, I gave you a list of like some of my favorite books. Today, I give you a list of my favorite podcasts. Shockingly, they're not all nutrition and okay, 50% are. So the first one, The Doctor's Pharmacy, Dr. Mark Hyman. He's a functional medicine doctor. Very, very good information. I absolutely love his podcast. He asks questions from the perspective of like the lay person. So he'll have like another doctor on there, but he'll ask the question, like the doctor will be, you know, they'll start talking about, one recently was like, they were talking about ketosis, and as Saison got into talking more and more about ketones and you know, BH, you know, the regulation and everything and the uptake, on my way to ride bikes. All right. See you at 9:30 at Jamesville Beach, Matthew. You know, that question of like, well, what exactly is a ketone and why is that important? So that way for the person who doesn't necessarily know what a ketone is or how it functions within our body, you can figure it out. You can learn. So the doctor's pharmacy, and these aren't in any particular order. It's really just kind of like what I'm craving at the moment. How I Built This by Guy Raz is actually really cool. Like if you want to learn about like how did Lululemon start? How did Cliff Bar start? How did any business start? Patagonia. That story is incredible. So How I Built This with Guy Raz. It's an NPR. He's an NPR dude. The story of Starbucks is actually, you know, they cover that. He interviews the owners of these businesses, so you can really learn. Airbnb was a good one. That was actually so. As a small business owner, I think it's important to hear the struggles that other business owners went through, and they're not inventors, but like entrepreneurs in other, you know, I mean, and it's not like they're not nutritionists. They're you know, they had a vision, visionaries. You know, they had a vision, and they were like, you know what, I'm not giving up on this idea. So that's a really good one. How I Built This by Guy Raz. Real as Fuck with Andy Frisella. He uses a lot of very bad language, but he does not hold back. He's basically like, it's just very, very open, very pure. And a lot of his podcasts I like, a lot of them I don't necessarily agree with, but as I was just saying to somebody else, after reading Dan Crenshaw's book, Fortitude, I listen to all of it, so then I can sit back and objectively make up a decision. Based on listening to both sides, then I can make my decision and move forward. In listening to Andy Frisella, you gain a lot of perspective on a lot of different things. Next up would be Revolution Health Radio. So this is my buddy old pal Chris Kresser out of the Functional Institute in California, San Diego. He's very hard to listen to because he's the monotone doctor. He's not the doctor. I guess he's got his master's in nutrition and some other certifications, but I don't believe. Very intelligent guy. He does very functional medicine basis. Great information, especially like if you're looking for alternative therapies. This is definitely one to check out instead of thinking about, you know, the straight up medication route. You know, he definitely gives other alternatives, how impactful nutrition can be as far as like everything from our gut microbiome to, you know, fighting Lyme disease to any of that stuff. Next up would be Rich Roll. Rich always has very eclectic guests. He has a very deep knowledge base, and he also, you know, like some of the guests that he brings on there, like borderline like shaman. Very, very good podcast. You thinking about things that you normally wouldn't think about. And then two more on here. So then we've got the Body of Knowledge. So these folks are my buddies that wrote the book Unplugged. Well, one of them, which is Andy Galpin. And then we also have from CrossFit LA, drawing a blank. Oh my God. Oh, whatever. Body of Knowledge. Basically, like it started as like they've done it in like a series, and in the series, like everyone kind of builds upon the other one. So they wanted to do it sort of like books. And in the first chapter, it was about like building your like your Sherpa, and you know, and then they had guests on who were basically like Sherpas to their perspective industry. And they had some fitness guys on, they had some nutrition people on, they had some political figures on who have done things to improve, like school lunches in California. Very interesting, very good. Again, it can get very sciencey. So if it can be very dry at times too. I mean, I was in the car for 8 hours and I knocked out, I think, 3 of them, because some of them can be pretty long. So, but still very good. And then lastly, the Tim Ferriss show. Tim Ferriss is a fitness guy. Health and wellness nut. He just came out with a book. I'm currently listening to the book and The Tools of the Titans. But Tim, it is said that Tim has documented every workout he has done since he was in 8th grade. So there's over 8 feet of notebooks stacked in rows in his house, which I think is just incredible, because his thing is he says, like, I can look at a picture and be like, this is how I looked when 14 years ago. I want to look like I did 14 years ago. What was I doing for a workout? I have a Twitch thing. Here we go. Wanna become famous. Oh, I can buy followers, primes, and viewers on adviewers.com. There you go. Shameless plug for adviewers.com. Thanks, Twitch. So he says, like, I can look like I wanted to look 15 years ago by going back and like digging through the archives and seeing what I was doing for the 8 weeks prior, start doing those workouts and that nutrition. So he's tracked all of his nutrition and all of his workouts since he was in 8th grade. And he's like 39, 37, he's my age. Dedicated to his craft, for sure. So those are my top current podcasts. The Doctor's Pharmacy, How I Built This, Real as Fuck Radio, Revolution Health Radio, Rich Roll Podcast, The Body of Knowledge. Kenny Kane, that's his name. Body of Knowledge is with Kenny Kane and Dr. Andy Galpin. And then the Tim Ferriss show. So I said I was going to bust those out. Those kind of coincide with the books that I listen to. I kind of flip-flop between them. It's not like I have, like book time, and then every morning I do my reading, actual physical reading, but then on the headphones, it will either be books or podcasts typically. So, all right, that's going to bring us to a close for the week. I hope you guys stay safe out there. There's a lot of craziness going on currently in the United States. A lot of protests. Protests have, turned into riots in some instances. So if you are law enforcement, I hope that you, continue to be safe out there. Continue to protect this, the beautiful people that we have. If you are a protester, please remain peaceful. Please remain respectful. Remember the meaning of the protest that you're supporting. And, have a great weekend. Try to get outside, do something healthy, be healthy, stay active, eat good, real food, not too much of any one thing, not too little of anything either. And I'll see you guys on Monday, bright and early, 8 a.m. Have a great weekend, folks.